तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। श्री चैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविता शाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकिकोकिलं। मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शिरसा नमामि। आपदामपहर्तारं दातारं सर्वसम्पदां लोकाभिरामं श्रीरामं भूयो भूयो नमाम्यहम्। दक्षिणे लक्ष्मणो यस्य वामे च जनकात्मजा पुरतो मारुतिर्यस्य तं वन्दे रघुनन्दनम्। Hare Krishna everyone, welcome back to another session of Sri Valmiki Ramayana. We are in the Ayodhya Kanda, chapter 83 onwards. So I'm sorry, not 83. Bharata has reached the bank of the Ganges. Sorry, this is chapter 84. Uh, this chapter, or these chapters, we will hear about Guha meeting Bharata. So Bharata and his entire kingdom, the army, all the priests, the ministers, the mothers, they were all in a very large retinue, reached the bank of the Ganges, and they have camped there for the night. From this side of the Ganges, Guha sees that this whole massive army has arrived. And he saw that they have set up tents and very fantastic arrangements. So Guha turned to his relatives or his army men and he says, "This army is way too large for me to fathom. I've never seen something like this." And he saw that on one of the tents there was this flag, and that flag was of a Kovidara tree. In botany, uh, it's a special type of um, orchid orchid tree. It's called Bahunia variegata. This particular orchid, and that is what is Bharata's flag. Just as Arjuna's chariot has a flag with Hanuman, Parikshit Maharaj has a particular flag with, I think, a lion on it, and Bharata's flag has this orchid tree called the Kovidara tree. And Guha said, "I think Bharata has arrived with an evil intent. I wonder, or I'm afraid, if he plans on attacking Ramachandra. I think he may have come to arrest all of us and shackle us in chains, or even attack Ramachandra so he can enjoy the kingdom not just for 14 years, but for a very, very long time, almost forever." So he told his people, "I am a friend and a servant of Ramachandra, and I will do whatever is needed to protect Ramachandra. All of you, please be very vigilant. Gather 500 boats and each boat must be equipped with 100 very, very strong men, just in case we have to fight Bharata's army. And he said, tomorrow we will check. We will only let Bharata pass from here down south if we can be very sure that he has no evil intent. Now, 500 boats and 100 on each. That's 500,000. 50,000, sorry. That 50,000 may not be a match for uh, Bharata's army. Yet, they're willing to lay down their lives for doing this service for Ramachandra. And saying this, next morning, Guha, with some of his attendants, took fish, meat, and honey as gifts to receive Bharata at the bank of the Ganges. Okay. So here's the conversation that happens between the two of them. When Guha came with these gifts, um, Bharata was informed by Sumantra, who saw that Guha was arriving. And Sumantra knew, uh, one, he knew Guha, but Sumantra also means he knows exactly what to do, how to do, when to do something. So he went to Bharata and very humbly told Bharata, this is the master of all the tribals, the Nishadas. Okay. He knows the entire Dandaka forest very, very well. Actually, he's also a very dear friend of your older brother, Sri Ramachandra. So, Bharata, for this reason, you should let Guha meet you because he can surely tell you where Rama and Lakshmana are. So, as soon as Bharata heard these very auspicious words, he said, bring or invite Guha in immediately to meet me. There's no waiting, immediately, let him come in. So then Guha and his people, joyfully and humbly with folded hands, approached Bharata and said, this entire pleasure grove, this whole forested area that belongs to us is yours. Okay? We are your citizens, we are your subjects, and we're reporting it to you that we are your servants. You can stay in the servant's house as long as you like. Here are some roots and fruits that my tribe has gathered, some fresh fish, some dried meat of excellent quality, and all that we get from the forest. He says, I hope that your army can eat well. You can stay for the night here, and then whatever you need, please let us know. Please let us know how we can be of service to you. When Bharata heard these words, uh, Bharata, who's such an intelligent person, he says, oh, my dear friend of my older brother Ramachandra. In fact, your hospitality is heartwarming like anything. Okay. Then once Bharata said like this, then Bharata said, can you please tell me which of the two routes from here should I take to go to Bharadwaja's army? Because this whole place is difficult to traverse, especially the Ganges River is so wide and deep, and it's not easy to negotiate this river and the forest that's around the river. So as soon as Guha heard, how should I go to Bharadwaja's ashram, with folded hands, in a very humble mood, he said, Bharata, my boatmen who are very, very expert and very attentive, they will take you. Can I also uh, can I also follow with you? And I'd like to come along. And then he says, I hope you're not going to attack Ramachandra, because this great army of yours is causing some apprehension in my mind. And when Bharata heard something like that, Valmiki says Bharata's heart was as clean as a cloudless sky. Uh, and in a very smooth, uh, affectionate voice, Bharata said, oh my gosh, what kind of fate has befallen me that I am being doubted by you? Please understand, Ramachandra is my older brother, and in my heart, I regard him as my father. Pitru Samah Mama. Pitru Sama. He is as good as my father. I treat him like a father. Bhrata Jeshtaha is the firstborn in the family. Pitru Samah Mama. And he says, Mabhut Sakale, I'm sorry, Mabhut Sakalo Yat Kashtam Namam Shankitum Arhasi. Look at the influence of time that I am being doubted. And then he says, Raghavaha Sahime Bhrata Jeshta. He is my oldest or eldest brother, and Pitruhu Samaha Mama. And he says, I'm actually going to Bharadwaja's ashram to find the whereabouts of Ramachandra, Sita Devi, and Lakshmana and bring them back to Ayodhya. So Guha,
Hare Krishna.
yeah. Oh, very
Uh, Prabhu,
yeah.
devotees here are saying that your audio is quite low. I'm having a speaker. For me, it's fine, but many devotees are saying so. Is there anything that you could do to increase the
Yeah, let
volume?
me check. My mic is on full. Hold on. Let me try something else. Can you hear me better now? Is the audio better?
It's good
Lot
for
better.
me.
It's not?
A lot better, Prabhuji.
Okay. All right, good. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know. All right. So I'm not going to repeat all of it. Sorry. So anyway, Bharata says, I am actually going to Bharadwaja's ashram to bring Ramachandra, Sita Devi, and Lakshmana back. And from your side, please don't have any apprehension in your heart. Okay. So as soon as Guha heard these words of Bharata, his face radiated. And with great joy, he told Bharata, you are such a blessed person. Dhanyah tvam. Na tvaya tulyam apashyami jagati tale. That I do not see anyone equal to you on this entire planet. And look at you. You are willing to renounce an entire kingdom without any effort that came to you. You're so easily willing to renounce the kingdom. So there is nobody equal to you on this entire planet. And he said, your fame will spread across all the provinces. And he says, you are the very person who wishes to bring Ramachandra back from his terrible condition. So he became very, very happy. So while they were talking, it became night time again. And next morning, they were going to uh, go to Bharadwaja Shastra. So Bharata uh, felt a pang of grief in his heart and anguish. So the grief was, I'm having to justify my innocence to everybody, and this great anguish that in what difficult condition Ramachandra must be there. Okay, so his heart was in a very, very painful condition, and because of this grief and anguish, there was this his body became feverish, and this one of the types of fevers where his body started sweating, and uh, it says that he was sweating so profusely, and there is a very beautiful poetic narration of Bharata's condition. So I'm going to read you those two verses, and then we'll see it in English. Of course, trying to say the same thing in English may not be the same impact, but let's see. Let's see what we get from it. So he says, Dhyana nirdhar shailena vinishwasita vinishwasita dhanuta दैन्य पादप संघेन शोकायासाधिशृङ्गिण प्रमोहानंत सत्वेन संतापै संतापैषधिवेण आक्रांतो दुःखशैलेन महता कैकेयी सुतः. These are two verses. We're going to break these things down. So let's start with what we recognize. Kaikeyi Sutaha, son of Kaikeyi. Mahata means very great. So he was feeling something very great. And what it was is Dukkha Shailena Mahata. Shaila means mountain. And Dukkha Shaila Mahata, a very huge mountain of sorrow, Akrantaha, had overcome or attacked him. So his heart was bearing as if a major mountain of dukkha, sorrow. Now, when some heavy burden is put on some other object, then the object below it begins to crush. So his heart was being crushed. And when it was being crushed, there were some effects to it, right? So first is dhyana nirdhara shailena. So dhyana nirdhara means rocks or caves, not caves, rocks that had no cavities in them, because that means the rocks are heavier. Okay, so these rocks that are very heavy are the rocks of his contemplations, because he's in a very deeply contemplative mood. And he says, Vinishvasita dhanuta. Dhatu. I'm sorry, Vinishvasita dhatuna. Dhatu are minerals. This is very similar in one sense to Hanuman preparing to fly. So there are the reference of a mountain being crushed is also here. So Vinishvasita dhatuna. Dhatus are all the minerals. So when object or a mountain is being crushed by the rocks, whatever minerals are there in the mountain begin to ooze out, and the oozing of the minerals is compared to his breathing. Vinishvasita, why we hear in Brahma Samhita, Nisvashita kalam athavalambya. Nisvana means to breathe. So his breathing was oozing heavily with sighing, with moaning like that. And Dainya Padapa Sanghena. Padapa are trees. Sanghena is a cluster of trees. And when trees are clustered, they become very, the area becomes very dark and very difficult to traverse. So it says Dainya, Dainya Padapa Sanghena. So the trees in the form of dejection. He was feeling dejected. Shokaya Sanghi Shrungina. Shrungina means peak. So there are these mountain peaks of sorrow. Shoka Ayasa. Ayasa means fatigue. And Sanghi. Sadhi. Sadhi is um, feeling mental distress. So Shoka, Ayasa, Sadhi Shrungina. So the peaks of these mountains that he was carrying on his heart was sorrow, fatigue, and mental distress. And then he says, Pramoha Ananta Sattvena. Ananta Sattvena means countless creatures, unlimited creatures of Pramohan means stupor. Stupor means sense of laziness. Any one of us, when we are on the mental platform, we don't feel energy enough to do anything. So this is that Pramoha, Ananta Sattvena, unlimited creatures of stupor. And Santa Paushadhi Venuna. Sa Santapa. Samtapta. So Santapa means burning sensation. Santapa Aushadhi Venuna. There were, the word Venu means bamboo. So there was this Aushadhi Venuna, mean there were these herbs and bamboo shoots that represented trees of sorrow. And Akranto Dukkha Shailena Mahata Kaikeyi Sutaha. Very, very beautiful poetic verses describing Bharata's agony. I'm going to read the English translation for you, and I will send you the verses if you like to meditate on them. So there are two different translations. Both say the same thing, just choice of words are different. Bharata, son of Kaikeyi, was stricken by a lofty mountain of sorrow. The cavityless rocks of that mountain were his contemplation. The minerals were his sighs. The multitude of trees were his desolation. Peaks were his fatigue and mental distress. The unlimited number of animals were his stupor, and the bamboo trees was his sorrow. A different translation. Bharata, the son of Kaikeyi, was pressed by the weight of the colossal mountain of agony consisting of cavernous rocks in the shape of settled contemplations on Rama, minerals in the shape of groans and sighs, a cluster of trees in the shape of depressive thoughts, summits in the form of suffering and fatigue, countless wild beasts in the shape of swoons, herbs and bamboos in the form of his exertions. Both are nice. In fact, I'm going to make a hybrid translation of this and work on it. Very beautiful. And then the next verse says that Bharata was like a bull that got separated from his herd, which means he was feeling a sense of anxiety, a sense of loss, a sense of feeling unbelonged. And this fever was burning, this fever of separation and distress was burning him from the inside. Then, chapter 86, Guha, who met Bharata the next morning, spoke to Bharata about the wonderful qualities of Lakshmana. Now, we have not heard what Lakshmana has said previously because Valmiki has reserved it, so we hear it from Guha's lips. And it's important because hearing one devotee of the Lord glorifying another devotee of the Lord without any trace of envy in their heart is tastier and sweeter than just hearing it from Valmiki directly. Yeah, same principle that we hear in the Bhagavatam, that the message of the Bhagavatam is very sweet. It's the ripened fruit. Yet, hearing it from the lips of Shukadeva Goswami somehow makes Bhagavatam even sweeter. And the more others are narrating it, the sweeter the message becomes. Shukamukhad Amruta Davya Samyutam. So, a fruit that is ripe on a tree, if you pluck that fruit and eat it, it definitely is very sweet. But when a parrot with its beaks, uh, with its beak hits on the fruit, it softens the fruit even further. Then the juices flow even better. Similarly, we are hearing about Lakshmana from Guha. Now, Guha himself is a tribal person, okay? So he's not necessarily educated in all these fancy grammar, but his heart is very amazing. And it's so amazing that he very quickly recognizes Lakshmana's amazing quality, and now he is saying it. And this is what he says. He says, I spoke to Lakshmana, that amazing Lakshmana, who, although carrying bow and arrow in his hand, is completely endowed with such wonderful qualities. And he had kept vigil all night for safeguarding his brother Ramachandra. So I, as Guha, had told Lakshmana, oh, my dear brother, here's a very comfortable bed that I've made for you. And we are all standing here at guard. So just feel at ease and rest peacefully here for the night. Oh, wonderful scion of the Raghu dynasty. And he says, as far as we and our people, we are very used to hardships. So sleeping in, rocky places or on the ground, that's easy for us. But you're a prince. You are used to royal comforts. Hmm. Your beds are made with gold, and the mattresses are so soft. They're filled with feathers of swans. They're as white as foam on milk. You're used to such royal comfort. So you please sleep. We will protect Ramachandra. Then Lakshmana said, uh, "Listen, nahi nahi Ramat priyataro mamah asti bhuvi kaschanah." Bhuvi kashtana means in this entire earth, nahi Ramat priyatarah. So in Sanskrit, priya means dear, priyatara means dearer, and priyatama means dearest. So nahi Ram priyataro mamaha asti. In this entire world, there is nobody more dear to me than Ramachandra. So don't worry, I am not going to sleep. And then is this beautiful verse that I'm going to explain a little bit about Lakshmana's contemplations of what he thinks for him are his dharma, artha, and kama. So you'll hear those words in the verse. Okay. Asya prasadat ashamse loke asmin sumahad yashah dharma avaptim cha vipulan artha avaptim cha kevalam. Okay, you heard ashamse, which just means I desire. So kama. You heard word dharma and artha. Okay. So the English for this is, so let's break it down word by word. I think it's nice. Asya prasadat. We sing Yasya prasadat. Lakshmana is saying, Asya prasadat. So in our Gurvashtakam prayers, we say, Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasadha. By whose grace I receive the grace of Lord Sri Krishna or Lord Ramachandra. Now Lakshmana is standing in front of Ramachandra. So he's saying Asya Prasadat. Asya means this. So this Ramachandra, or actually it's not this, it means he. Asya Prasadat, by the grace of Ramachandra, Ashamse Loke Asmin, in this world, Ashamse, I desire Sumahad Yashaha, I desire the greatest fame. Okay, we'll discuss what that fame is. Then he says, Dharma Avaptim cha Vipulan. Vipula means very widespread, expansive. I want dharma that is expansive. Dharma Avaptim cha Vipulan. And Artha Avaptim cha Kevalam. Artha Kevalam. That I have exclusive wealth that I want. Or unalloyed wealth. So my dharma, my artha, and kama that I desire is that I will receive by Ramachandra's mercy. And I desire sumahad yashaha. I desire great fortune. Yashaha actually is fame. Why would someone be, when Lakshmana is serving Ramachandra, why is he desiring fame? The fame that he wants is that he's always seen as, thought of as, and spoken of as a unalloyed devotee of Ramachandra. That is the fame he wants. He does not want fame that someone will glorify Lakshmana independently. That fame has no value for him. So whenever they say Lakshmana, they want people, he wants people to say Lakshmana, who's a servant of Ramachandra. That is his fame. To be known as a devotee of Ramachandra. Great. Dharma Vipulan Avaptim. Vipulan Dharma means under all circumstances, at all times, that I will never act or think or speak in a way that is disconnected from Sri Ramachandra. Because Dharma means my inner nature and the activities that I perform. And then I want wealth, artha. Artha avaptim cha kevalam. Kevala artha means exclusive or unalloyed wealth. And that unalloyed wealth that he wants is the opportunities for service. And he doesn't want that service to be tinged with something else. So he says, Kevalan, exclusive artha, that the service that I get is not tinged by any other contemplations. For us, the phrase, or in essence, Lakshmana is speaking what Rupa Goswami has taught us. The definition of Uttama Bhakti. Anukulena Krishna Anushiranam Bhakti Uttama. And this Uttama Bhakti is free of Jnana Karma. Jnana and Karma are not contaminating. Anyabhilashita Shunyam. Jnana Karmadi Anavritam. So this Anya Abhilashita Shunyam is the similar to Lakshmana saying Artha Avaptim cha Kevalam. Okay, very amazing verse. And there's, I'm sure if we sit and think about it, there's a lot more we can extract from it. And so he said, because I see myself as a servant of Ramachandra, I will stand here with the bow in my hand and I will guard Ramachandra. who is here laying down with Sita Devi. And to me, nothing here is unknown in the forest. I don't mind. I can defeat any army, even if they come with the four divisions, horses, elephants, chariots, soldiers, everything. Sat, so Guha is saying, like this, Lakshmana, who's nothing but very, very top-notch uh, dharmika person, very politely replied back to me, Guha. How is it possible for me to sleep or even live with any comfort when Ramachandra and Sita Devi are lying down on the floor like this? Katham dasarathau bhumau shayane sah Sitaya shakya nidra maya labdhum जीवितम वा सुखानि वा shakya nidra maya labdhum. How can I even fall asleep? Jeevitam va, how can I even live? Sukhani va, or how can I even desire to enjoy any happiness? Separate from them is not possible. And he said, uh, at the same time, he is very clear who Ramachandra is. Yo na deva asurai sarvai shakya prahasitum yudhi. There is no demigod or asura in this entire creation who in battle can defeat Ramachandra. Tam pashya guha, just see. We use the phrase, just see. So here it comes. Tam pashya guha, samvishtam teshu, truneshu sahasitaya. Samvishtum means he's lying down, truneshu, on a bed of straw, sahasitaya, along with Sita Devi. So this Ramachandra is not an ordinary person. The great Dasharath Maharaj had to perform so much austerity to win Ramachandra as his son. And I know that this Ramachandra, because he has been banished from the kingdom, Dasharath Maharaj cannot survive even for a moment. Definitely, this earth will become bereft of a son. That is uh, a king. Dasharath Maharaj will die. And he said that the entire set of queens of Dasharath Maharaj, I'm sure, will cry so loudly and so piteously that the whole royal palace would be completely full of that noise. And now that after Dasharatha's death, that entire sound is dead. The whole palace has become calm like a graveyard. And he says, I don't think, I'm not sure if Kausalya and Sumitra will even live. He says, maybe Sumitra can even survive because her other son and my brother Shatrughna is there to somehow console her. But what about Kausalya? I don't think she will survive. And so my father will die. I don't know how my mothers will survive. Maybe my mother, my biological mother may somehow survive. So with this contemplation, Guha is still narrating. Like this, Lakshmana the whole night sat contemplating and thinking about what has happened. And next morning, there's Ramachandra and Lakshmana. They performed their morning sadhana and they got this sap from the banyan tree and applied it to their hair and tied it into matted locks. And these two, who can pretty much shake up the entire universe, very humbly wore tree bark and dressed like ascetics with hair matted in locks. Although they are very, very amazing male elephants, like they are powerful with bows and arrows, they went away into the forest along with Sita Devi. So Guha is glorifying the form and features of Ramachandra and Lakshmana. Jatadharau tau druma chira vasasau Mahabalau kunjara yuthapa upamau. Kunjara yutha, like a herd of elephants. Upamau means similar to. Vara ishu chapa asidharau param tapau. Vara ishu chapa asidharau. They are holding the best bow, arrow, and shield. Param tapau. They can make their opponents shiver. Vayavekshamanau saha sitaya gatau. I'm sorry, Vyapekshamano. Vyapekshamano means as they were walking, they turned around and kept looking at me. And then they proceeded into the forest. So with that, we end chapter 86. And let me see if you have any questions or comments or thoughts. I'm sorry, sometimes I get a little into these verses and breaking down the words. You can let me know if you don't want me to break down the words like that and just tell you the story or narration. If you want me to do it, let me know. Either way, I'm your servant. So any questions, thoughts, comments?
Hi Krishna Prabhu. I have a question from last week. We discussed that we should think what to do and also how to do. So my experience is what to do is sometimes clear, but then how to do becomes more and more refined when I keep doing a service. Is so at the very first, for me, how to do is not so clear. Is that a general thing, or is that something specific for an individual that they need to look and work through?
Everyone. From a conditioned perspective, the how, as you said, gets refined because we are meant to evolve from gross to subtle, because subtler are more powerful. And not everyone has access to such subtle ways of speaking or doing. And in some cases, the gross way is also required. Like Ramachandra is fighting with demons. There's no subtle fighting. The weapons are very subtle, but the fighting is very gross. Gross means not in the gross, but gross means in the physical realm. So certain things come as refinement on the gross side of things. For example, I can try how many ever times, but I cannot roll a chapati. I've tried it many, many times, for example. But it's a skill with practice becomes better. But that's on the grosser side. So in our service, how also includes not only the skill and the knowledge, but also the values with which we are offering that service. Anya abhilashita shunya. I mean, that's very difficult to immediately engage in service without any other desire. That's tough. It takes time, it takes purification. So how over time naturally becomes refined, as you said. Hopefully refined.
Okay, thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
I guess an appreciation and maybe a request for elaboration. You had mentioned how Guha was a tribal and so not as educated or refined, but his quality of speaking still sounds incredible. And I was really appreciating especially how when he was speaking with Bharat, that he had these reservations in his mind, but he didn't go out and just tell Bharat, like, take your army away. Like, he was still very exemplary in expressing his doubts without being accusatory. And so maybe could you just elaborate
Well,
in terms of
Guha is a
relationships
very,
amongst devotees?
well, there's a lot. I shouldn't say a lot. There is that. Plus, Guha is a subject, a minor king under the rule of the king of Ayodhya. So when that emperor is on the other side of the Ganges river, it would be foolish for Guha to just fight without asking Bharata, why are you here? What has brought you here? And if Bharata had said, I'm here to fight with Ramachandra, then Guha would have fought with Bharata for it. And even if it means his life was gone. But as part of the proper behavior or demeanor, he took gifts for the emperor. He received the emperor because one of the rules that Bhishma Deva, or actually any Dharma Shastra says, that even if an enemy comes to your home, Prabhupada quotes this many times, if an enemy comes to your home, they should be received in such a way that they should have no anxiety about any or fear of any attack on them. They should be received properly. In Mahabharata, there are so many instances. They're fighting in the morning and talking in the evening. For instance, when Arjuna was told by Krishna that Duryodhana is holding on to 5 arrows that he will give Bhishma Dev tomorrow morning, and those 5 arrows are going to be the reason all 5 Pandavas will die, because Bhishma Deva has promised. Go and get those arrows from Duryodhana. So when Arjuna went and knocked on the door, or however, to Duryodhana's tent, Duryodhana received Arjuna with an embrace and sweet words and sat him down and gave him great food to eat and said, my dear brother, what do you need? If today you say you want the entire kingdom, it is yours. And Arjuna said, Kshatriyas don't take charity like that. So if I have to take the kingdom, I will take it with fight. But since you have offered me something out of your hospitality, I have a request. Duryodhana said, ask whatever you want. Oh, can I have those 5 arrows, please? And Duryodhana didn't say, no, not at all. He said, sure. Got up, got the 5 arrows and gave it away to Arjuna. So there is some honor among them as well. So Guha, that's the Kshatriya honor of interacting with each other. Guha is not a Kshatriya, but he's the king of the Nishadas. So there is some, and the Nishadas came from Kshatriyas, right? In the 5th, 6th canto, wherever King, 4th canto, sorry. When King Vena's body was churned, from that churning, the Nishada race came first, then Prithu and Archi came. So he's Nishada, come from Kshatriya. So there is some honor. You just don't, without first diplomatic conversation of, not diplomatic, not in the way the Hare Krishna devotees use the word diplomatic. We have a negative connotation for diplomacy or diplomatic. They're diplomatic. What it means is, there is from first, you find out what is the intention of the other person. What are they wanting to do? And depending on that. Does that satisfy you, Edward? Yashodarandan?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Confirmed also.
Actually, just thinking about that, the hardest part is something you alluded to toward the end about,
Why do you need your
at least when I feel that way, like try to understand before jumping in. It feels very duplicitous. Like I already have these reservations, this emotional component of it. So that's even, I guess, more appreciation for people like Guha, because they can withhold that and still, in all sincerity, offer that kind of loving respect.
Yeah. In his, whatever he's offering, behind that is his concern. He's wary, he's suspicious of Bharata. He's very suspicious. That's why he asks him, oh, I would also like to come along. Can you please tell me, what is your intent? What is your intention? He's suspicious, but he cannot defy the etiquette of the emperor, that the emperor has arrived there.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, this is Sachi Das.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, like you said about exclusive
Yeah,
wealth,
Kevala.
which has no tinge of jnana and karma. Yeah, Kevala. Can you give me some example which is without jnana and karma? I don't.
Of wealth?
I mean,
He
even
says
in,
it is, no, the particular word that he uses is avaptim artham. Artham avaptim cha kevalam. Artha means wealth. That kevalam, it is not tinged. Wealth that is tinged. So let's say somebody earns money, but it is tinged or contaminated. It's contaminated by dishonesty. It is contaminated by some other malady. Some wealth for many persons is not pure because it's not earned from necessarily an honest endeavor. So there is some tinge to wealth. So he's saying, let my wealth be free of duplicity or ulterior motive or anything else except for the genuine mood of service. I'm doing it because I'm serving because I genuinely want the pleasure of Sri Ramachandra and Sita Devi. That is what I want. I don't want this from it. I don't want that from it. I don't desire this. Nothing. So, na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavitam va jagadisha kamaye. Mama janmani janmanishware bhavatad bhaktir haituki tvayi. That's the unalloyed kevala bhakti that he's talking. He says kevala artha. Artha means what I get out of it. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is teaching us, my dear Lord, I want to serve you. That is, and that service is free of any desire of dhanam, janam, sundarim, kavitamba, etc.
thank you very much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Quick clarification. Can you hear me, Prabhu?
Yeah, loud and clear. You're
Okay.
wondering why I'm using Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Ramachandra's pastime? Okay, go ahead. Parama Karuna. I can't hear you.
Prabhu, it's without karma and jnana, it is impossible to attain the level of Kevala. Am I thinking correctly?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. What do you mean? Explain more. Okay, while he's still coming back, anyone else has any other question or comment? I think he's somewhere where his reception is not so strong or phone connection. Anyone else? All right. Parama Karuna, I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Is there anyone else who wants to say anything? Otherwise, we'll pause for today. All right. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful rest of the week in contemplation of Sri Ramachandra, Sita Devi and Lakshmana, and their wonderful devotees like Bharat Maharaj, Guha, the love that they carry in their heart for Sri Ramachandra and Sita Devi, and in different ways in which they are serving them, and especially Guha's glorification of Lakshmana. That verse is very amazing. And if any one of you likes learning verses, that'll be a wonderful verse to learn. Okay, thank you. Hare Krishna, until we meet again. So just so that you're aware, as long as daylight savings is going on, we will meet Saturdays at 9 a.m. Central Time here in the Chicago area, and that will mean 8:30 India time. Thank you. Hare Krishna.